Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. And Siddiqa Sadiq, thank you so much for having us today and teaching us more about our most frequently used language. And hopefully we can learn more with you today. Thank you so much, and
Thank you
please
for
take it
having
away.
me. Thank you for having me. Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. How are you all doing?
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, we're doing great. How are you, man? How are you doing?
Excellent. Thank you for asking.
Walaikum assalam, ma'am.
Just going to. So we have just Adil and Tariq for now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I think so.
So this class is going to be very. I'm going to need your input today because it's actually for fluency. Like we're really focusing on fluency today. So I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. So you can leave your yourselves off mute. So you don't have to be on mute. So we can get through the list of things I want to do faster that way. I will be trying to figure out how I can share my screen first. Okay, so I will get right into it. So when we talk about fluency, last time we talked about certain strategies of how to speak so we can sound more comfortable and competent in how we speak. Sometimes what we write is so amazing and so well put, but when we speak that, it doesn't sound as you want it to sound. Maybe you sound great, but you want to also sound very confident and comfortable when you're speaking any language. So I first of all want to ask you if you guys know what this word means. Cliche. Do you know what this means?
Oh, overused statement.
An overused statement, exactly. So what you want to do is we want to avoid these overused statements, right? So I'm going to change my computer to English. I always forget to change it because my daughter keeps it on French, and I think we're good now. So we want to avoid using these overused statements for many reasons in any language, because when we use one word or one phrase over and over, it kills it, right? So it doesn't even have the same worth anymore, and it doesn't really, it's quite the opposite of showing your competence in a language. Now, what often happens is we tend to memorize a lot of idioms, right? So idioms are expressions in which the noun of the sentence, right, in which the noun of the sentence that you say, the idiom, is abstract. It doesn't hold the literal meaning sentence, right? So for instance, you can say, what does this mean? Not out of the woods. What does this mean if I say we're not out of the woods?
I don't know, ma'am.
Sorry?
I don't know. What does this
No.
exactly?
Okay. So if I give you a sentence, right? If I put this in a sentence, right? If I say, so Tariq, can you read this sentence for me?
Yes, ma'am. Sure. The pandemic may have come to an end, but according to many, we are not out of the woods just yet.
Okay, so now can you kind of guess the meaning of what this might mean?
Uh, it it might mean like we are not totally free of something.
That's exactly what it means. So we're not completely out of danger or the problem
Okay.
yet, right? So yet, abhi tak. It doesn't mean we're never going to be out of the problem. So the expression "not out of the woods," it means we're still dealing with certain issues, maybe not the main issue, but we're still not completely free, like you said. Now, this is an example of an idiom in which the woods here is your not literal meaning, because normally the woods means a forest or a jungle, and usually if you're in the forest, you're in difficult situation, right? So if you're not out of the woods, it means we're not really safe yet. We're not really out of the danger or the problem yet. So now this would be an example of an idiom because we're playing with a noun. I'm going to give you a couple more because we're not working with idioms today. We're actually working with phrasal verbs, but I want to show you the difference between phrasal verbs and idioms. And I think, Tariq, it was you in the WhatsApp group who was asking about improving vocabulary and answering certain questions for improving your level, right?
Yes, ma'am. It was me.
That was you. So perfect. So this is really going to help. I mean, in any situation in which you have to write an IELTS or you have to get into university or for your job situation or then for just personal improving your language. The next one I have is to take a back seat. What does this mean?
It might mean to relax or something.
Okay, could you give me an example? Could you give me a sentence?
A sentence. It can be I asked or I told my brother to take a back seat because he was so tired or something like.
So yes, you can ask your brother to take a back seat or take the back seat, right? It can be a back seat or the back seat. I mean, it's depending on the context, of course, right? The means specifically, I'm telling you, just to take the back seat or take a back seat means in generally speaking. However, I would say I told him to take a back seat, and this not really about being tired. I would actually not mention that. I would actually cross that out because to take the back seat means to just loosen up the control, like let go of the control, right? So I told him to take a back seat because I had everything taken care of. You see the difference?
Yes, ma'am. It is something with reference of the movies. Like when we take seat while watching some movie, then like we are free. We just need to watch. Is it something like
Again,
that?
tell me again.
It is in reference to the like movie theaters. When we go there, we take a back seat. That means we are free. Just we have to watch.
No, no, actually, good try, good one. I like that. But no, it's actually in reference to driving. It's actually in reference to driving. So when you drive, you have control of the steering, right? You're the
Oh,
driver, you're controlling. So you're abstract driving a situation. You're abstract driving a car or your life, right? Not physically driving, but it comes from the seat where you drive and the seat, the back seat where you're actually not driving, right? So take the back seat, you're not in control. You're not supposed to be in control of the situation. I also have written over here to become less involved in something, right? So to like that. Don't worry about it. So it's not about, it doesn't come from being free. It comes from not having that control and loosening up that control over something. Okay, I'm going to give you one more and then we're going to go actually into what I want to do. It's, what does this mean? Just ask Adil. Adil, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Can you give me a sentence with my heart sank?
Maybe a state of disappointment or feeling low.
Could you tell me again? I have difficulty hearing you.
Maybe a state of disappointment or feeling low. Am I audible?
Could you give me an example of a sentence?
After the loss of my grandmother, my heart sank in darkness or something.
So maybe not at the loss of your grandmother, but maybe whenever I
Financial,
think,
uh, financial loss.
no, I'll stick with your grandmother. So whenever I think of my late grandma, my heart sinks. It's that sudden feeling of sadness. Like everything's going okay, and then all of a sudden you feel sick. If someone dies, or if you lose a lot of money, or if you have a like anything bad, right? That's not really your heart sinking. Your heart sinks is like when you when your thought goes somewhere and it just makes you feel really down. It just momentarily it makes you feel really low. So it's not like it can't be a big traumatizing event. It could even be like my heart sinks when I think of the earthquake in Turkey. Because in all reality, we don't all sit down all day and cry about the earthquake in Turkey. But if your grandma dies, then you spend a little bit more time crying about your grandma passing away. It's just not talking ethically here, I'm talking like grammatically here, right? So it's when you suddenly feel like, oh, and then you continue on with something. So that sudden feeling is my heart sank. There is a difference between a big trauma or like remembering a trauma or remembering something bad that happened. Now, these are all, we have a back seat, this is the noun, and then your heart over here is a noun. So this is, we're playing around with nouns and giving an abstract meaning. Your heart doesn't go in the water and sink. That's not what happens. It's just an idiom. It's a figure of speech. But what we use a lot in English are phrasal verbs that second language speakers do not feel comfortable in using. And I hope that your question is, how can I learn phrasal verbs? Well, I hope you want to, because they're very, very important. You can't have half the conversations that you should be having without phrasal verbs. Phrasal verb is a verb, so I'm not dealing with nouns here, plus a preposition or two. Sometimes you can have two prepositions or three prepositions, but is it verb plus one or two or more prepositions together? And it functions like an expression. It functions with one abstract meaning. And so which book should you purchase to practice phrasal verbs? None. You will go to the bookstore and you'll find so many books online at bookstores, the 100 most common phrasal verbs and like 500 ones you should know and everything. And you can buy it and memorize it. And that's not going to help you at all. It's the worst way of learning phrasal verbs. So the best way of learning phrasal verbs is to find them, watch out for them, see how they're used, and then note it down and use it. You make your own book of phrasal verbs. Everyone has their own. You have your phones in your hand. You can have a little note in your phone, in your note section, in which every time you spot a phrasal verb, you put it in there. I have students who actually put it right in their calendar. So if I find a new phrasal verb today, I put it for next Sunday or Saturday. And then when it pops up on my calendar, you don't expect to see it pop up on your calendar. And when you see it, they have to make a sentence in their mind, or they send me a message saying, here's my sentence for phrasal verb today. That is the best way. You got to find a practical way of learning and using and memorizing phrasal verbs. Going through a list of phrasal verbs is not the best way. The other way is, like today in today's workshop, I'm going to give you an Urdu expression, and I'm going to try my best to do it in good Urdu, and you are going to have to tell me the translation of it in English. So we're going to be doing a little bit of that today. So
Sure.
examples of phrasal verbs. I'm going to give you 2 sentences. I want you to tell me which of these verbs is a phrasal verb. We have step up your game and step up on the ladder. They're both step, right? Which one of these is, and they both are followed by a preposition, up and up. So which of these is a phrasal verb?
Forever one.
The first one.
Sorry?
The first
Forever
one.
one.
The
Step-
first one, to step up your game, because it's an abstract way, right? Step up on the ladder is what you have to do on the ladder. So this is the phrasal verb. So it is the different meaning of step, right? It's not taking a physical step. I'm going to give you one more, and then we're going to do some translation activities. So run out the door and run out of shampoo.
Second one.
Second one, ma'am.
Second one. Exactly. So you can see that when they're used, they're not very difficult. They're not a big new vocabulary word, but is this how a second language person would say? Maybe they will say, oh, I think my shampoo is finished. I think I need to go buy more shampoo. Whereas a first language person would be like, oh, I ran out of shampoo. And that means I don't have any more left and I'm going to go buy it. Same thing with step up your game. I need to do better. I need to improve. I need to get ahead. Whereas you wouldn't say, I need to step up my game, which expression means that I'm everything that I said. Okay, so now let's go. I'm going to give you a, first I'm going to give you, how do you say this in Urdu? Eat.
How?
Okay, there you go. So we know this, right? The very basic word. Now I want you to tell me, khana khatam karo. Excuse me. How would you say that?
Finish your food.
Finished.
Sorry?
Finish your food. Adil bhai said the same thing.
I want you to use the word eat. By using the word eat, I want you to say khana khatam karo. Not khana khao, but khana khatam karo. Like there should be nothing left on your plate.
Uh-huh.
We would say eat up.
Eat up.
We just say
Okay.
2 words.
Yeah.
Finish your food is absolutely correct. But then to sound more native and to sound more English, this is what would be said. Eat up. That would be a phrasal verb that means khana pura khatam karo. Okay.
Same as pack up.
Yeah.
It's similar as pack up. Eat up, pack up.
Backup is but it's a different meaning. Exactly. What does backup mean, Tariq?
To wrap up everything, like that.
No. I actually I will come to backup. That's a good one, and I will come right to it. It's a good one.
No, not backup. I
Here's
mean
another
backup.
one.
Copy.
Pack up. I'm sorry. I think there's I have my volume on maximum. It must be my age. Pack up. Exactly. So here's another one. Pardon my Roman Urdu here, but आज मैं घर में खाऊंगी.
Should I tell this or Adil bhai?
Both of you. I want you guys to just go for it.
I
The
will
simple
eat at house.
Again, I will.
Eat at house.
Okay, So first of all, the better word for house, when we talk about apne ghar mein, it's home, right? So house is the makan, and then your mera ghar is my home. That's really important to remember. But no, actually eat at home is not the right one. This is a common one that people would say, but actually we're going to eat in. This is what we say to say, I'm going to eat ghar mein, not bahir. Ghar mein is eat in. Is eat at home wrong? It's not wrong. It makes sense. Is finish your food wrong? No. These are all ways of sounding more fluent, sounding better, and sounding more native English when you say it. This is not wrong or right, except for like this would be something to keep in mind. But this is not literally. You understand what I'm saying, right? I hope so.
How do we use it? I
Okay.
will eat in or I will eat in home.
I'll eat in, no home. So you will literally stop right there, full stop. Should we
Okay,
eat
ma'am.
in, right? So imagine घर में खाना खाएं. Like that, the conversation will go just like that. We don't have to use the word home because this means home. It doesn't mean their home or somebody else. It means home, अपने घर में, like that. So how about we're still sticking with eat. Excuse me. So मैंने अपनी savings खत्म कर ली.
I utilized my savings.
So here we have with eat and one other one. So we have two options. We have two. I have eaten or I ate up, no, into my savings, and I have used up my savings. So if you want to use the word use instead of utilize, we would say used. So that's one thing to see over here. Used would be used up over here. And if we want to stick with our word that we're doing, eat, then we're going to go with I have eaten or I ate. It really depends on the grammar you're talking about. They both mean, in Urdu, they both mean the same, right? So I have eaten, I ate into my savings. We say eat into. Eat into is when you have finished whatever you've saved. It's not about eating. It's not about khana. It's about using, but we use the word eat. I hope I'm not going too fast. And if I am, please tell me.
No, ma'am. It's okay.
My last one is बाहर खाते हैं. So we're not going to eat
Let's eat
in,
out.
लेकिन बाहर खाते हैं. Sorry?
Eat out.
Let's eat
So
out.
give me a sentence. Let's eat out. I think you guys both used that one, huh? So
Yeah.
that one came fast. Let's eat out. And that means not by picnic karte hain. It's not about sitting and having a picnic outside. It's about eating out at a restaurant, not ghar ka khana. So you see, just from the verb eat, we have other verbs which don't necessarily have to do with eating, such as eat into something is nothing to do with actually digesting anything. Okay, we're going to go with a different verb now. I won't give you the verb yet. I'm going to give you a sentence first, and let's see what verb, phrasal verb you give me. I don't know how to say this in Urdu, so I'm going to make a sentence in English. I don't know how to say this in Urdu.
Yeah.
Do I want to use this word? 1 second.
वो हमेशा तंज करती रहती.
maybe tons. Yeah.
She's always critical.
Okay, let's do that one. She's always critical about her husband. Not tons. It's when
Sure.
you criticize,
Criticize
because
को तंज
tons could be
कहते हैं.
sarcastic. Perhaps you definitely know
Tane,
better with
Tane,
that.
yeah, it's Tane, something like that. Tane.
Tane is sarcastic. Okay. So how do we say this? How do we say?
I might be wrong, but I think she is fed up with her husband, something like that.
Her husband. So this has a different meaning. This means done, like both ho gaya, right? Like fed up, like to the limit.
So
Not the same meaning.
Food. Okay.
Again, sorry.
Nothing, ma'am. I said it means they're gonna go for divorce now. And this means
Probably. Probably. So this is this over here, but we still need to know when you're always critical about someone, we use, I'll give you the verb. So to criticize, it begins with put. What's the preposition that goes after?
put up,
Down.
Put down.
Okay.
He always puts him down. That is how you would say that. We wouldn't use the word to be critical or to criticize, like you said, to tans karna, but it's when you want to say that you're always putting someone down, it means you're always looking down on them and you're criticizing everything that they do. So we have the verb put over here. So the next verb that we're looking at, and we're going to be doing a few of those, is so. Now you know the verb. You just have to think of the
Ma'am, I have a question.
yes, please.
Go
ahead.
Like, which sentence will be the perfect use for let me down?
Let me down. Let me down is disappointment. So if I, for example, if I'm teaching you these and I really want you to learn them, I'm going to say, I really hope that that you don't let me down, Tariq. I really hope you use them. Like, don't disappoint me,
Okay.
It's a very common mistake. Actually, I've heard a lot of people, they want to say she उसने तंज किया या उसने criticize किया, and they say उसने मुझे बहुत let down कर दिया, and I'm just always wondering, like, do you mean criticize, or do you, because let down means disappointment. And to hear that, you should listen to some songs, like if you like, all those heartbreak songs will be about don't let me down, or you let me down, or something about like broken heart or disappoint someone. Parents will say to their children, and spouses will say to each other. It's all about disappointment. Anyone just प्यार अपना वो समझते हैं, and then they break your they don't come up to standard to you, they let you down. So it's not put down and let down are not the same thing. Put down is criticize, and whereas let down is to disappoint. And we know that those two are very different feelings. मैं ये हरकत बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकती अब, right? So that's a key word here. मैं अब ये नहीं बर्दाश्त कर सकती. So
Now I cannot put up with your action.
that's excellent. Now I can't put up
With your actions.
Exactly. Excellent. Very good. Exactly. It's put up. And put up is you said something over here too. Oh, fed up, right? So fed up and put up are not exactly the same thing, but they're close, right? When you can't put up with someone, then eventually you get fed up, right? So it kind of like not the same thing, but same story, right? So when you can't put up, then you eventually get fed up, right? So it kind of goes hand in hand. Okay. And I'm glad you're asking questions in between, because there's so many, like I said, there's so many, because if you take a dictionary, big dictionary, all the verbs in there, now all of those can go with all the prepositions. So, you know, when in math class you learn probability, well, this is an exactly perfect example of probability. It's infinite, right? There is no probability equation for this, because you have all the verbs in English and then all the prepositions, and then they all can go together. Sometimes you can put two together. So there's the end, the list is out of this world, right? So, but of course, we don't use all of those every single day. So we need to see. So I selected these ones because I've heard these mistakes. So I've only selected these only because over the time I've heard people make these mistakes. So if you think of in between something else, please do ask like you are. Okay. ये
Well,
meeting
most
बाद
of
में
the
करते हैं.
time,
Continue.
most of the times we find difficulty while seeing any seasons or movies because
Because of this, right? Because you hear some expression and you're like, oh, and it throws you off, right?
yes, I didn't get it.
Exactly. I don't get it. Exactly. So I just said it throws you off. And this is also a phrasal verb, throw off, right? It to make you confused, lost, and off the attention track, you know? So that's what, so you can say when I watch a show and I hear phrase I don't understand, it throws me off. So this is what you would say. So now, for instance, Adil, you learned this verb today, right? You learned the expression. Next time, force yourself to use it, because I'm going to send this document to you. So force yourself to use it next time. Next time you understand everything, and then koi baat hoti hai that makes you go, oh, acha, I'm lost now. Then you say this, oh, that threw me off. You can conjugate it too, right? So, oh, that threw me off. Matlab, abhi tak I was following, but that's it. I'm gone now. Okay, you made me lost. I'm confused now. Is that clear, Adil?
Crystal clear. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So let's see this one. ये meeting बाद में करते हैं.
We will do this meeting some other time.
So I want to use put. I want to use the word put.
Put over. I am just guessing.
What?
Put over.
Yeah,
over
go ahead.
maybe.
Put over. No, put over is not one. It's off.
Put on. Okay, off.
Put off. Put off means which is बाद में करना, which again, like you said, forward, but I guess another word could be postpone. Right? When you want to postpone something, to do it later, बाद में, is to put off something. If I want to say ये meeting बस हम cancel कर रहे हैं. How do I say this? It's not put. It's not put. A different verb over here. Can you guess?
Get off or something like that.
Sorry?
Get off.
It's actually call off.
Call. Oh yes. I
Oh.
I knew this one. I knew this one.
Right? Exactly. Sometimes you know it, but it's like it's back here. Exactly. So when we have postpone, right? Postpone is put off. So postpone is put off and cancel is call off. Okay. We still have a couple more with put. No idea how to do this in Urdu, so I'm going to give you an English one. To encourage someone to do something wrong or even stupid, silly. So when I when I encourage someone, so sometimes this happens in school, in universities, you're playing around and you're encouraging your friend to do something really, really silly. It could be anywhere in life, actually, not only in school and university, when people encourage you, misguide you to do something that they already know is wrong or stupid or just silly or nonsensical. It's also with put. What do we say? And here we have two prepositions after this. Any guesses?
Put.
On.
Off, on.
We can't hear you. I can hear you, but I can't understand you.
Off, on.
In between. Or off, on.
Up to.
Up to.
It's up and to. So when you put someone puts someone up to something. So the thing is, someone puts someone up to something. That's sort of the way the expression goes, right? I put him up to that. She put me up to that. So this is how we say this expression, and it basically means to encourage someone. And if you want to ask, like, who told you to do this? Kisne kaha ki ye harkat karo? With the same phrasal verb, how would we say this?
Who asked you to put up to that or something?
You're close, but you don't want ask. You don't want to ask. So who? With the verb?
Told you.
Who
Who
put
put you
you?
up there?
Who put
Up
you up to that?
to that. Okay.
Who put you up to that? And then you will say, he put me up to that. And that's how that would mean. Like, kisne kahe ke ye harkat karo? Who put you up to that? Now, what would normally be said, and it's not wrong, is who asked you to do this? But that has a few different meanings. It doesn't necessarily mean something bad, right? Maybe you are memorizing the Quran. And if I ask you, who asked you to do this? It's not like I'm telling you you're doing something bad. I'm just asking you, whatever you're doing, even if it's namaz or Quran or painting the wall, whatever you're doing, just asking you. It's a simple question. It doesn't imply that what you're doing is bad. But if you're praying, I'm not going to ask you who put you up to that, because I'm not going to imply that something is bad. So if you're doing something wrong, right, then I will say, who tumhe kisne kaha ye harkat karo? So it's like more very like, when I say this, I am implying that this harkat is not good, it's
Not good.
wrong, it's
Okay.
not good, it's stupid, right? Is that clear,
When
guys?
you ask, yeah, when somebody asks like who put you up to that, and I have to reply, then if I want to add this sentence, please correct me if I'm wrong. He put me
Yeah.
down. He put me up to that, but I'm down with him now.
Ah, okay. He put me up to that,
Yes,
but I am down.
with him now. Is it correct to use down?
What do you mean by this? Like, what do you mean?
I mean something like not gonna listen to him again, or something like, our friendship just broke up.
Right. And that's not what this means. This means that he put me up to that. Usne mujhse ye karaya, but I'm down with him now. Matlab, now you are Pakke dost.
Addicted.
When you're down with someone, it's actually the meaning of being true friend. Like now we're down. Like we're down now. Matlab ab to masla hi nahi hai. We're pakke dost. It's totally the opposite. This is why I asked you, what do you want to say?
Okay, so I'll change this. I'm done with him now.
I'm done with you now. Exactly. I'm done with him now. And this is also a phrasal verb because we have the verb to do and the preposition with. So this is also a phrasal. I'm done with it. And anything, right? So you're trying something, maybe you're painting or you're writing a story or something is just not coming off. I'm done with this. Khatam, right? So that's very, very good. Very good. Okay. So moving away from put, if I wanna say this sentence, okay, pucho. How do we say pucho in English?
Ask.
Ask. Exactly. So can you make a sentence with ask for me?
Ask him about dinner.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, लोगों से पूछो. How do we say
Ask.
this?
Ask from people.
Ask them.
So exactly. How do we say that with one word? Ask.
Them.
No specific log, just in general. यहाँ वहाँ लोगों से पूछो. Like no specific.
Okay.
Just people in general.
From.
Ask around.
Around. Around.
Okay.
Ask around means ird-gird, लोगों से पूछो. And that's what it means to ask around. So do you know anybody who is selling a car? No, I don't know somebody, but I can ask around, right? I don't know who is. Right? मैं पूछ सकता हूँ इधर उधर लोगों से, right? So no one specific. You don't have anyone specific in mind, but I can ask around. Another one that I've again, like I told you, I selected these ones particularly because these are the ones that I've heard people misuse and or not really use them the right way. Okay, so let's say if I want to say मेरा glass टूट गया. How do I say this?
Simply will say my glass is broken, but
My glass is broken. Now this my glass is broken means मेरा glass टूटा हुआ है. Different meaning, right? Because this is just a fact. This is just a fact. My glass is broken. It's just a thing. So now, but how do I say मेरा glass टूट गया or टूट गया था? You can even say that, but I think टूट गया is very common. Oops, मेरा glass टूट गया.
That means instead of broken, we'll use broke.
So how would we say that? My glass?
My glass is broke. No, how was or is? It's this one is part.
This
okay,
means
My glass broke.
it is
Just.
my glass broke. Exactly. So we don't need that. My glass broke. We don't need is. We cross out the is. Okay. Do you know what it means, Tariq, to be broke?
to be broke. Yes, ma'am. To to be very poor, to have nothing.
Exactly. Right.
I am.
Not only poor, it's not to be poor. It's when you don't have any money left. Person who's poor might already not have money, right? If you're poor, I don't know if you just became poor today or were you also poor yesterday. But if you're broke, then that means that yesterday you had money and today you don't.
It's similar to
There is a
bankruptcy,
difference.
maybe.
That's an extreme form of broke. Exactly.
And
It's a very,
we
very
use
extreme
that
form.
in context of organizations, but here we use in terms of an individual.
True,
Like
true. But a person can also go bankrupt. But yes, I do agree. I do agree.
yeah, like we
Right?
we call some people he's a brokey, like in Western countries, he's a brokey.
A
Brokey.
brokey.
Yes.
I haven't heard that. What kind of a person would be a brokey?
The one with no money left. Same.
Okay, maybe it's a slang. Maybe it's a slang. I haven't heard it, but absolutely, if you've heard it on movies or something, it could be. But it's not a word that's spoken around.
Heard it on YouTube,
Honestly.
ma'am. Some sort of
Sorry.
podcast. Heard it on
Yeah, that's the
YouTube, like
thing.
some sort of podcast.
Yeah, YouTube has a lot of English that doesn't isn't. This is why I honestly recommend watching shows or even podcasts made by um, English people. And I'm not
They were
being biased,
they,
but Canadian English
they were
people.
people from America.
Yeah, that's why I said before you said that I'm not being biased. Maybe I am being biased, but Canadian. Listen to Canadian English. It's never, they will have words that are just very spoken. And to see the difference, to see the difference, honestly.
Yeah. It
Is
was a
really
slang. You were right. It was a slang.
exactly. But American slang is very different. It's really like, it's very American. And it's fine if it works and you're in a gathering that makes sense, absolutely. But to visually see the difference between English, English from Canada versus America, you should check out cbc.ca, which is our uh, news website, and then
Canadian
watch
Broadcasting
any.
Corporation. Same
Sorry.
as baby. Is it Canadian Broadcasting Corporation? Something like that.
It is exact Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, exactly. And then you can watch CNN or whatever, right?
I
And
do
forget
watch
the other
CNN
one.
sometimes.
Switch to CBC. It'll be you will learn faster for sure, especially with phrasal verbs. They speak more spoken English. You can check it out for yourself. It's I always say it's CBC, the English. I'm not talking about the content. I'm talking about language wise. It's way better to improve English. Okay, so here we have uh, my, did we add to this? Mera glass toot gaya tha, my glass broke. Okay, so that's the broke, there's no phrasal verb in there. But now I want to say, how do I say this? Meri gaadi kharab ho gayi thi.
Oh, fun.
We're still using the same verb.
My
Can you guess the preposition? Down. So when
down.
something breaks, like toot jana, we just say break, right? And then when we talk about something stops functioning, when something is not functioning anymore, we say breakdown. We also call breakdown can also be of numbers, right? To break down numbers means to, um,
To divide it in
Exactly, right? Reverse of adding the stuff. You go down and you find out what you're adding and everything. So, not really dividing, but yeah, I'm sure you guys understand what breakdown is. And breakdown can also have another meaning. Breakdown means to be sad, right? To break down into tears suddenly, right? So not like to be in a sad state of life, but just to all of a sudden feel sad and to break down. And then if your heart breaks, there really is no preposition to it. Your heart just breaks. So that's an idiom. That is an idiom.
Yes, ma'am. Broken heart.
This is an idiom. It's not a phrasal verb because there's no preposition to it, and it's an idiom because it's your heart doesn't literally break into pieces. It's an abstract way of saying it, so it's an idiom. Like I said at the beginning, if we're talking about nouns and if we're playing with the nouns, we're using idioms. If we're playing with verbs, we're using phrasal verbs. So as you can see that even though we have so many of these phrasal verbs that we've looked at, we still, it's not like we looked at a lot of different verbs. We just looked at verbs paired with different prepositions. So it's not really about grammar or vocabulary. It's more about memorizing these expressions because that's how it would make more sense to use it. Instead of saying, my car stopped functioning, or my car had a problem with the engine and it wouldn't go further, my car broke down. That's how you would say it. Okay. Any questions?
Do we only use preposition or we also use adverb like come across or something else?
We also use a preposition. So what I like to do actually is when I say phrasal verb, maybe preposition, I use preposition today. That's what I said. But I normally, when I'm teaching a grammar class, I don't like to call it prepositions. I like to say particles because the particle sometimes is not a preposition. Sometimes, like you said, come across is a phrasal verb, but it's not used with a preposition. It's used with an adverb. So I like to call it a particle. That particle that goes with the verb, it could be either an adverb or a preposition, but most commonly they're prepositions. So, and some people can actually even argue that across can be a preposition. So across can also be it is a preposition as well. So I like to use the word particle, but for the sake of not making it grammar, I like saying preposition because most of them are prepositions.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. I don't think that we have any more with eat or put or thing. Is there one that you can think of, or did you bring any question with you, Tariq, for today?
No, but my question was the same. Like we are discussing about this. I was going to ask this one only. About, because when I gave that test, there were so many words which like was kind of new for me, and I thought that I have done it correctly, but when I saw the score, it was very disappointing, like 61
I
or
mean,
something.
so disappointing. But I know you want to improve, but you need to add more listening and more listening to your daily life. And it cannot be like I listen to one thing or I listen 5 minutes or 1 hour. If it's like, do you go to the gym, Tariq? Do you work out?
No, I don't, but I
So
listen
if
like 2 hours of podcast every day, maybe.
every day,
Yeah, every day. Almost like I
mm,
have so much English in my life, ma'am. It's not like I'm living here, so I'm just surrounded with it because my screen time is
this is
really
amazing.
like 7-8 hours or maybe more.
Okay. So you have podcasts playing.
Yes, yes, ma'am. When I go for a
That's
walk, like in the
genius.
morning, I listen.
Yeah, that's good.
Morning and
And it's all about
evening.
consistency, right?
Yes, ma'am. All with consistency. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Because it's like if a person goes to the gym and they want to build some muscles, If you go once a week for 2 hours, it's not going to happen. Nothing is going to happen, right? But if you go every day for 10 minutes or half an hour or whatever time, you will see a better difference. So it's all about consistency. And if you're putting regular, whatever amount you're putting in, that is it. It's not about how much you put in. And if you're putting in that much, it's amazing. But like, mashallah, that's really good. But if some of us can't afford that time, right? Or we don't sit and we don't have that time, right? So then it's all about consistency. It's not about putting in a big chunk of time at once. And there's a really good book I'm going to recommend to you guys. It's also on it's an audiobook as well. And it's on YouTube if you want, or you can read it. I listened to it, to be honest, because again, time is a thing. So I just put on my headset and I was doing my stuff in the house and I was listening to it. It's called Atomic Habits. Have you read it?
Yes, yes. I have heard it and
Some
I have read 2 chapters.
Did you like it?
Yes, yes, ma'am. We do.
It's really, really good, right? And that's exactly what he talks about. He talks about how it's little tiny habits that make a difference, not one big step, that absolutely. So listening to other books like that are really good too. You can watch some of his podcasts too, or watch. You can listen to some of his podcasts too. They're really you're really going to find it nice because he's a good speaker. I like the way he speaks a lot, and I think it's really a good thing to do. Tim Ferriss is a very good name as well. Tim Ferriss. If you ever want more names or something, ask me in the WhatsApp chat. I can give you. I'm telling you, they're good, not because of the content, again, not because of what they're talking about, but I'm thinking in terms of the language they're using, and can that language be beneficial for you as somebody who wants to improve? So in that case, James Clear, Tim Ferriss. There's also a Pakistani guy. His name is Ali Abdal. Have you heard of him?
doctor.
He's
Uh,
really good. I think he's either British or he's not in Pakistan, but he's Pakistani, and he does his things too. And actually, I discovered James Clear from Ali Abdal. I think he's amazing. So I'll put those names as well for you. And I'm so glad that you both came. It was a small class, but thank you for always coming,
Yes, ma'am. I
and
like
thank
it
you
less.
for being so active in the group and in here. I hope to. I'm so happy. That really means a lot, and I hope to see you more. And I hope to see more of your see you improve, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Perfect. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a lovely week. And inshallah, there will be a workshop next week as well. So and in between, if you think of an idea or if you have something that you want to do, or something you find beneficial, or something, or the problem, please don't hesitate. If you don't want to ask in the group, send me a private message, but don't be shy in the group either. You can send a message in the group. Either way, you can suggest some ideas or something. So because I just want to, the purpose of me coming here on Saturday is just to make a small, tiny difference for you all. So you can
Yes.
not be shy and let me know what you would want help in.
Yes, ma'am. You were pretty successfully doing that. And we are very thankful to
You're
have you.
too nice. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Yeah. So I'll see you guys around in the group, and inshallah next week.
inshallah, ma'am.
Sure. Inshallah.
Take care, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Love you too,
Allah
ma'am.
Hafiz.
Take
Allah Hafiz.